designate as alternate.
Okay. Good evening. At this time, I'd like to call the Lee County Board of Commissioners to order and like to welcome everybody here on this really cold evening. Thanks for braving the weather to come out. At this time, I'd like to call on Commissioner Kirk Smith for invocation and pledge, please.
Heavenly Father, we give thanks for this nation. We ask your blessings and guidance for our national and state leaders. We ask for this board to act on behalf of our county in a way that honors you. We give thanks for the many freedoms you provide us, the freedom to worship, to speak freely, the right of a free and honest press, the enduring freedom to peaceably assemble, and the freedom to petition our government for a redress of grievances. Help this elected board, as well as all those in positions of power and authority, to govern wisely for the common good of all. In your most holy and precious name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. At this time, are there any additional items to the agenda?
Yes, ma'am, Madam Chairman, need to add a closed session to discuss economic development.
Okay, so that'll be item 8 under Commissioner comments.
Madam Chair, if we can remove item A under new business, the party who was interested in purchasing that property has withdrawn offer to purchase that parcel.
Okay. Okay, so we will just remove item A under new business. Anything else?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
without objection, I would offer to move item C under new business to the consent agenda to include allowing you to sign the deed of transfer to the city.
Okay. And this is the park property. Okay. So we have the removal of item A under new business, the move to consent agenda for item C under new business, and the additional closed session. Anything else for the agenda? Is there a motion?
So moved.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you very much. Okay, consent agenda?
Move to approve.
Okay, any questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. And public comments. Were there any public comments? Okay, all right, thank you. Okay. Under old business, item A, you find that on page 39 of your agenda, consideration of an offer to purchase property located at 1401 Boykin Avenue. Ms. Parrish?
Yes, if you recall, we addressed this on the December 17th meeting, where gentleman, Mr. Gomez, had put in an offer to purchase the 1401 Boykin Avenue. He owns a house right beside it as well. The fees that was owed on the property was $3,313.96. The tax value is $1,800. The city did deed their interest in the parcel to us like we normally do. We advertised the offer of $800 from Mr. Gomez in the Herald. That was ran on January 2nd, 2019, and no further upset bids were received. So at this time, the board can vote to approve the offer and authorize the chair and any officials to sign all the documents necessary to effectuate.
Okay. Any questions or comments?
I'll just tell them thank you.
Okay. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. right, now moving down to new business, item B, consideration of an offer to purchase property located at Oakwood and South Third Street.
Yes.
Ms. Parrish.
Yes. So this parcel, just so the board is aware, what is owed on the property is $14,274.21. And the current tax value is $5,900. You'll see in your agenda packages that Outreach Mission had contacted the city and county interested in purchasing. It was actually the other lot as well, but they withdrew that offer. But they have offered to purchase this lot in hopes to expand their homeless shelter at some point. And we do have some representatives from Outreach Mission who are here tonight. I've spoken with them. This was taken up by the city at its council meeting last week. And at your desk, I put the letter that came from the city. So they did agree to deed their interest in the property to the county, but they just wanted it to be known that they did so with the intent that the lot be received by the nonprofit Outreach Mission to address homelessness. In the meantime, we normally sell these properties through the advertisement upset bid process. In the meantime, the question came up, I think it may have even started at the city council meeting, as to whether or not we could donate the property to the Outreach Mission with the intent that they use it for the public purpose of addressing homelessness. That question was posed to me last Thursday, so I'm still researching that and trying to figure out exactly if we can do it, and if we can do it, how we can do it. So I am actually requesting at this time, because it's not quite ready, and they are under a bit of a time crunch because they're seeking grant funding that they need to know by the end of February as to whether or not they'll own the property. I went ahead and put it on this agenda because I wasn't sure what we may do with our first meeting in February given our retreat. So if the board is so inclined, we could hold a special meeting at 5 next Thursday just to address this right before our retreat.
I'm only laughing, I forgot about the retreat. I was not interested in a special meeting.
Yeah. But you
But
have
I
to
understand.
We felt like we would
That's fine.
start a little early and
That's fine.
take care of this
That's
so
fine.
we could address their time constraints.
So I'm not asking for anything at this time, but I just wanted to fill the board in so you knew where we were and trying to figure out exactly what we can do.
But you're actually just trying to get clarity or clearance.
Correct. On donating it with restrictions and covenants put in place.
I would offer the motion to approve on those conditions, that we get clearance from the agency.
Well, the board would have to adopt, if we do it that way, the board would have to adopt a resolution with those conditions in place and then advertisement. So that's not in the agenda packages, so we would have to
All right.
do it at a separate
I
meeting.
didn't know about the resolution piece.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of the conundrum was a lot of this happened at the end of last week, and then with the
Yeah.
holiday, she's been working really hard, but it's hard to get some folks to answer back.
But the real trick was that it was like the piece of property we talked about for Brick Capital, with the exception that it's got these provisions that have to be included
Right.
in the transfer.
Correct, and we did speak with them about, we could continue with the offer advertisement upset bid process, but my understanding is they would prefer not to go through
Right.
that process, so that's where we're working through right now.
So, do we have a,
You're just tabling it then, right?
Yeah, we just don't need
Yeah.
to, no action needs to be taken tonight, and then just know
But-
that I'll be asking to call a special meeting.
right, that's,
Asking the chair to call a special meeting.
right. That's what we were just kind of wanting to have this discussion rather than just pull it from the agenda. We wanted everybody to kind of be aware of where the thought process was. And if there was any discussion or any problems, we'd come in a little bit early for the, okay,
That's fine.
okay, okay. All right, okay, thank you, Ms. Parrish. All right. So we will try to do it in a timely fashion, once we get all the information that we need. Okay, thank you. Okay, we've moved item C to consent agenda. Now, we'll move to item D, which is consideration of appointments to the Board of Equalization and Review. And Ms. Gamble is going to walk us through this. Thank you.
Thank you. So before you this evening, I have 7 applications for the Board of Equalization and Review. This board hears property tax appeals filed at the local level. In the applicant pool that you have received, there are 4 applications for reappointment. Those are from Gary M. Thomas Sr., Alfred S. Ruschatz, John Michael McDonald, and John Edward Angel. Mr. Angel previously served as an alternate on the board, and typically the board's practice is to move an alternate to a regular position once one becomes available. I have provided a ballot before you for consideration, but you'll first have to take a vote on the voting method. The ballot was just kind of provided as a means to smooth the process. Per North Carolina General Statute 105-322A, the board will also have to designate a chair for the Board of Equalization Review. Previously, John Michael McDonald has served as chair, and upon contacting him, he would be honored to continue serving as chair. I also contacted Mr. Herman Morris, who is currently seated on the board until 2021, and he is in full support of Mr. McDonald continuing serving as chair. So if there are no questions, I would just ask your consideration on the voting method for voting this evening. If you wish to proceed by ballot, you'll have to take the vote to proceed by ballot.
And just for the record, I spoke with Reverend Morris myself to find out if he had an interest in being the chair, and he quickly deferred to Mr. McDonald. So I would move that we appoint Mr. McDonald as the chair and the remaining members, the remaining applicants as members of the.
One of the applicants will need to be designated as an alternate. There are 6 regular positions, and then 1 alternate will need to be designated. Then we'll still have an alternate vacancy available as
Who
well.
was the last one in?
Actually, it was Mr. Angel. He was received last week.
He's the alternate for as long as the board can select. I'm just giving you my opinion. I don't waste a lot of time on it.
I think the argument with Mr. Angel was that he was already an alternate moving up, so
Right, there was some confusion over the,
just want to do ballots and then you can count it up.
And I've received a couple so far. If you want to take a moment to fill out and sign your ballot, I can
Yeah.
go ahead and collect those and quickly tabulate them.
I didn't quite
announce
hear
the
what-
results.
Oh, Mr. Angel was already an alternate.
Oh, all
That
right.
moved- That's why we move him up, is usually how it works.
Right.
That's been the board's practice.
And I can understand where you said, who's the last one in?
Yeah, right.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but I didn't
In
know
this
he
case,
was.
there was a little conundrum there too, yeah.
Right. No, I'm fine with him being,
just put alternate or,
Just write
A or
alternate
whatever
next to the person
next
you
to
would
the
like to
person's
designate
name.
as alternate. That's correct.
What
And
was
then
the
you'll need
next-
to write in the chair designation.
who's next to the last?
I'm not certain. I'd have to go back and look at that one because they were all kind of received around the same time.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I think it was Gary Thomas who was next to last, and he's a reappointment.
Well, he's a reappointment, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he should make it
okay,
difficult.
you need,
All his are kind of fuzzy around that.
All right.
thank you, Jennifer. Okay.
No, I think Mr. Reeves did a motion for that. Did we already vote for chair? Did Mr. Reeves make that
No,
motion?
you'll need to,
You put
I recommended
designation on
No, I
it.
was just wondering.
Mr. McDonald for the
I
chair.
have no issue with that. I put that on my paper, but I don't know if we needed a motion.
okay, and while you count these up, Jennifer,
It's endorsed on.
we can move on to the next one, and then will we need to make a motion to approve? Yeah,
So,
okay. Your tally, I guess, or the,
I tallied them quickly
Oh,
like that.
okay, all right, well then, there we go.
But the issue we have before us is a 3-3 on the alternate.
Okay, all right.
So between Halford G4 and Erica D. Glover, I'll defer to the chairs.
I'll move whatever I marked to the other three, whoever that was, if that helps.
Okay. So I believe you had Erica D. Glover, and so you want to change your vote to Halford G4?
Fine,
Okay.
I just want to get it done.
Well, and then maybe, yes, we're good. We need one more alternate for that
We
board
still
to be
have
full.
one
Okay,
alternate vacancy.
Oh, I see. Oh, that's available.
that's available.
And did we actually have a vote on the, to vote by ballot,
No, we did not. So,
just to make sure we can accept these?
So moved.
okay, all right. All those in favor of voting by ballot, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you very much.
And by unanimous vote, Mr. McDonald was voted as the chair designation.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
We'll get that letter out to him. Okay, all right, Ms. Mentor. Sometimes it's like watching the sausage being made, but that's okay.
Good evening.
Good evening.
It's hard to believe, but it's budget time all over again. So we are ready to kick off our budget for fiscal year 1920. And you will find the proposed calendar on pages 90 and 91 of your agenda package. Just a couple things for your priority. May 13th, we have scheduled a preliminary budget work session. This year, we are proposing to put the budget on the table at the second meeting in May. So we will actually have a preliminary budget work session for this schedule. The budget, as I just mentioned, will be read on May 20th. We hope to have that out to you on May 16th prior to the May 20th meeting. We will have another budget work session tentatively on May 28th. There will be a public hearing on the budget on June 3rd, and then you have from June 3rd to June 30th to adopt the budget.
Okay,
Okay?
it's hard to believe.
I agree. So at this time, unless you have any questions or concerns or want to make any changes?
Okay, so.
We got a question.
Sure.
The non-county organization would include the nonprofit.
Yes, sir. Includes nonprofits, CCCC, mental health, SAGA. Pretty much everybody, all the outside agencies except for the schools, which are by law have until May 15th.
Okay, is there a motion?
So moved.
Okay. All those in favor of the proposed budget procedure calendar, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and now the financial report.
Okay, you have the December financial report on beginning on page 93 of your agenda package. You will see that we are still, as of through December, a little bit behind the same time period last year on taxes. We do know, obviously, that we have a period in January that taxes come in, and they are also working diligently to track down some of our larger taxpayers that have not paid to find out what might be going on there and if we can get those on in. As far as expenditures go, we're looking at around 50%. Again, the numbers are skewed now because of encumbrances having to be included. If I go back and take those out, you only have two departments that are really over the 50% of their budget spent right now, and that's finance, and that's due to the annual audit, and strategic services is overdue to the upfront payment of some maintenance agreements. Sales tax reports through October 2018 are attached. You can see that our growth is a little bit less than it was the same time period last year. We still think we're seeing the effects of the storms that came through. It is interesting, we're around 3%. It does look like right now that the state overall is doing a little better than we are here in Lee County right now, but hopefully that'll bounce on back as we get through the holiday season. So we'll continue to monitor it and bring any concern that we may have to you at the appropriate time. Any questions? Thank
Still
you.
fared a lot better than a lot of the other counties. I know their report tonight is not as good as ours is. So thank you for all
Thank
your
you.
hard work. Okay, manager's report.
Yes, ma'am. I know in my report I don't have any updates at this time, but of course then there's news between when I write my report and the meeting. So we did receive notice from the city that they were starting their improvements over at Kiwanis Family Park. You know, there'll be quite a bit of activity starting out there as they build the splash pad and reconfigure the bathroom area and some of the park equipment over there. So people will see a new way when they come in. They'll park in a little bit different area, and the spring should see a lot of activity there. So I know they're hoping to have that splash pad open for some of the summer and get that all started. Also, in front of you, there should be a email that I received from the DOT that gave preliminary listings of what projects were added to the TIP for the 2029 plan. One of the interesting things is that the Kelly Drive realignment has been placed in the TIP for right-of-way acquisition in 2022 and construction in 2022. So that was not there before.
Good news.
So that was kind of surprising to get that. So, and then a couple of our projects, the Horner Boulevard, it's really a city project. The improvements along Horner Boulevard were pushed back. And the widening of North Carolina 78 Tramway Road, which is actually from US 1 back to, I guess that's Lemon Springs Road. I think it's Lemon Spring, what they
That's
call
right.
Lemon Springs
Where
Road.
the convenience stores
Yeah,
and
it was supposed to be in here for starting engineering and that kind of stuff, but it's back to study, and they're doing a new study on it. And I had the opportunity to raise some concerns about school traffic, and then why the plan was stopping at US 1 and not going across to Tramway Elementary School. So they did say that Tramway Elementary School would be part of the study.
Good, good. Any
All right, so let's see. In other items, I'm recommending to the board that we cancel the February 4th meeting of the board. We will have just finished our budget retreat on Friday the 1st, and since we're actually having a meeting now, if anything comes up between now and then, I can add it then, and then you all won't have to come back and see us on that Monday. So I actually would need a motion by the board to cancel the February 4th meeting.
So moved.
I don't know, 3 days out of 4 together would
I
be
was-
interesting.
The thought alone is interesting.
Just trying to help you all out.
We appreciate it. Okay, any discussion or concerns about doing that? Okay, all those in favor of canceling the February 4th meeting in light of the fact that we will have the retreat on the 31st and the 1st, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, thank you.
This Thursday night is the Joint Planning Commission meeting, and I believe all the commissioners have been invited. It's really a meeting of the JPC, and most of the conversation between Glenn Dunn, an attorney with the law firm of Poynter Spruill, will occur between the JPC, but there may be time for questions from the commissioners, city council, and town council as well. So I encourage everybody to be there. I plan on being there. Because every time Mr. Dunn speaks, I learn something new. So it'd be quite a learning process for us all, and as we're learning that whether we like it or not, growth is coming to Lee County, and there's going to be a lot of issues involved with that. And I think the board is going to get to see a lot of that over the next couple of years. So that is pretty much my report, Madam Chair. Be happy to answer any questions.
Questions? I've got one, John. You know, with the, although if we have much weather like we've had the last couple of days, I don't think there'll be a whole lot of families rushing out to Kiwanis Park. But, you know, it does look like we'll have a few warm days here and there. Do we know how long the restrooms are gonna be out of commission? Have they said?
The restrooms are open, so they
Okay.
will have access to them. When they go down, they'll probably go down for maybe 60 days or so.
Will we have signage? I mean, I'm sure Ms. Brown will push it out through social media.
Yeah,
but-
we are coordinating that with the city because that's their responsibility with our MOU to make
Okay.
sure they keep everybody informed. Of course, then we take what they give us and we put it out as well, but yeah, we're staying on top of it with the city, so that we know what's
Okay.
the inconveniences are gonna be, and I'm
Well,
just
just as
warning
a-
you that there are some folks that, when the weather is warmer, go out there just about every day and walk that trail.
Right.
And you will probably hear from them.
Right, well, you know, but my main thing was the signage for the restrooms, because having 4 kids, that's important to see that sign pretty much when you get out of the car. So you,
Yes,
you know, so that was just my,
I will
2 cents worth.
emphasize that with the,
yes.
and when we meet with the city on
Well,
February 11th, and the joint meeting
Right.
between the interlocal committee, I will add that
okay.
to my items.
Well, and
I'm sure they'll give us an update, but we want to talk about it.
some of them will be there Thursday night, so maybe we can
Okay.
just bring that up too. Okay, Commissioner comments?
Yes, Madam Chair, I did send out a note from the Sand Hills Board. I believe everybody got that on the opening, the Phase 1 and Phase 2. Looking forward to seeing that come on board, so just letting you all know.
And that's moving quickly too. That's
Well, that's been,
impressive.
they're working on that for over 2 years.
Mhm, it's impressive. Dr. Knapp?
Stay warm. Let's check on your other neighbors in the cold weather.
We had a very nice groundbreaking / ribbon cutting Thursday out at Industrial Park. A lot of people attending. I thought it went very well.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Dale
Just hope everyone has a good night.
Okay. Commissioner Reeves?
I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, Commissioner Dodson sends his regrets. He is under the weather. I hope he does not have the flu. But he's not with us tonight for that reason. Couple of quick things. Commissioner Dodson and I attended the Chairs Conference last Wednesday in Raleigh, and then Commissioner Smith and Commissioner Dodson and our manager and our clerk, which just had a whole contingency that was there for the Legislative Goals Conference, which was really well attended and lots of good discussion. And Commissioner Smith spoke on a couple of really important issues, and I appreciate that and his participation in the conference, and Commissioner Dodson's as well. So we'll see what the final tally is moving forward. But transitioning from that, we're still working on our agenda for the retreat. And Ms. Gamble has got it all ready to go, but I have invited Representative Sauls and Senator Bergen to come and join us. But we're trying to get their schedules together, whether it'll be dinner Thursday night or breakfast or lunch on Friday. And I talked with Senator Bergen again last night, and they're trying to sort of, they want to come be there together, so they're trying to sort of rework their schedule. So hopefully we'll be able to give you a nice polished agenda shortly. But one of the things that Senator Bergen and I were talking about last night, along with the legislative goals process, he is wanting to respectfully task the Board of Commissioners that of the areas that he represents, that if we could come up with 3 local goals that we would like to see him try to push through in the legislature, and talk with us about those at the retreat. So in essence, he kind of gave us some homework, which I welcomed. And so if you think about that in the next few days, and if you'll send me your ideas, and Ms. Gamble and I'll try to kind of put them together, you know, in a written format so we can kind of all follow them, and that'll be easier for us to discuss once he joins us for the retreat. So 3 local goals, not the over-encompassing statewide that we worked on last week in Raleigh, but something that just benefits Lee County, although it, you know, might also benefit other counties as well, if that's clear as mud, but that's kind of our homework assignment.
Is that a request for legislative stuff or anything that we might consider important enough to solicit help?
Right. Whether it is a bill necessarily, or whether, like you said, it's just, the
Or
Kelly Drive
Kelly
thing is a
Drive.
good example.
Oh,
Yes, yes.
that was my thought.
Yes,
Thank
exactly.
you.
Uh-huh. Okay, all right. Well, with that being said, that's all I had.
I got it.
You got it? Okay, all right.
Yes. Per statute, per North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A4, to discuss matters relating to the location and expansion of business. We will have a closed session.
Okay, all those in favor of going into closed session, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you very much. We're in closed session.